Welcome back to GBS Analytics Hub. In the previous video we covered the foundations of accounts payable and the purchase to pay process, the key concepts, terms and challenges every GBS professional needs to know. In this video we bring all of that to life. We are going to walk through a complete accounts payable invoice analytics dashboard built entirely in Power BI, using real invoice data covering 500 transactions across 10 European countries. By the end of this video you will see exactly how a well-designed accounts payable dashboard gives finance and operations leaders instant visibility into everything that matters: invoice status, vendor performance, payment trends, aging analysis, and working capital exposure. Let us get into it. Before we explore the dashboard, let us quickly look at the dataset behind it. We are working with 500 invoice records, covering the full calendar year 2024 across 10 European countries including the UK, Germany, France, Spain, Poland, Hungary and others. Each invoice record contains 12 data points: invoice ID, invoice date, due date, payment date, vendor name, spend category, country, invoice amount, payment terms, approval status, payment status and days outstanding. This is exactly the kind of dataset that exists in every ERP system, SAP, Oracle, or any finance platform. The difference is that most organizations leave this data sitting in spreadsheets. What we have done here is connect it directly to Power BI and transform it into actionable intelligence. The dashboard opens with 4 key performance indicators at the top, giving any finance leader instant situational awareness before they look at a single chart. Total invoices, 500 transactions in scope. Total invoice value, $12.3 million across all vendors and countries. Overdue amount, $2.07 million. This is highlighted in red deliberately. It represents money at risk, vendor relationships under strain, and potential penalty charges accumulating. And finally, average days outstanding, 24.74 days. This is your DPO indicator, showing on average how long invoices sit before payment. These 4 numbers tell the story of Europe Health in seconds. No spreadsheet, no manual calculation, always live, always accurate. Moving to the invoice status by category chart. This stacked bar chart is one of the most powerful visuals on this dashboard. It shows every spend category, from logistics and IT services to manufacturing, facilities and travel, broken down by invoice status. Green represents paid invoices, blue represents pending, red represents overdue, orange represents disputed. What this visual immediately reveals is which categories carry the highest financial risk. You can see at a glance where overdue and disputed invoices are concentrated, and that tells procurement and finance teams exactly where to focus their vendor management efforts. This is the kind of insight that would previously take an analyst hours to compile manually. Here it updates in real time with one click. The top 10 vendors by invoice amount chart shows which suppliers represent the largest financial exposure in our accounts payable ledger. Metro Office Supplies leads at $1.5 million, followed by Central Procurement and Prime Services, each at $1.3 million. What is important to note here is that this is not just a spend ranking. Combined with the status filter on the right, you can click on overdue and immediately see which of your top vendors have the highest concentration of late payments. That combination of spend volume and payment status is exactly what procurement teams need for vendor negotiations and relationship management. Your highest spend vendors should always be your most closely monitored, and this dashboard makes that monitoring effortless. The invoice amount by country chart shows the geographic distribution of accounts payable exposure across our 10 European markets. Spain leads at $1.68 million, followed by the UK at $1.41 million and Poland at $1.36 million. In a real global business services environment, this view is critical for treasury and cash flow management. Different countries have different payment regulations, different banking systems, and different vendor expectations around payment terms. Having instant visibility into accounts payable exposure by country allows regional finance teams to prioritize payments intelligently, and allows the central treasury team to manage liquidity across markets with confidence rather than guesswork. The Invoice Aging Analysis chart categorizes all outstanding invoices into time buckets, showing both the total amount and the number of invoices in each bucket. The 0 to 30-day bucket dominates at $7.9 million. These are invoices within normal payment terms and require no immediate action. The 31 to 60-day bucket shows $1.9 million. These are approaching risk territory and need monitoring. The 61 to 90-day bucket shows $2.6 million. These are overdue and require urgent action. In this dataset, no invoices exceed 90 days. but in a real-world deployment you would typically see a fourth bucket here representing severely overdue invoices that carry significant financial and reputational risk. The aging chart is the single most important tool for accounts payable prioritization. The invoice trend by month chart shows how invoice volume and value moved throughout 2024. What immediately stands out is the spike in July, reaching $1.9 million, significantly above the monthly average of approximately $1 million. In a real business environment, this kind of spike would trigger immediate questions. Is this a seasonal pattern, a large one-off procurement event, a system processing backlog? The ability to identify these anomalies instantly, rather than waiting for month-end reports, is exactly what separates data-driven finance teams from reactive ones. This trend line also helps finance leaders forecast future accounts payable workload and cash flow requirements with far greater accuracy than traditional monthly reporting cycles allow. One of the most powerful features of this dashboard is the interactivity built into the slicers on the right. We have two filters: filter by status and filter by country. Watch what happens when I click overdue in the status filter. Every single visual on the dashboard instantly recalculates and refilters, showing only overdue invoices across all charts simultaneously. The vendor chart now shows which vendors have the most overdue exposure. The country chart shows which markets have the highest overdue concentration. The aging chart focuses only on overdue aging. The category chart highlights which spend areas are most affected. This is the power of connected analytics. One click, total visibility, no pivot tables, no manual filtering, no waiting. And visually digestible. That is the complete accounts payable invoice intelligence dashboard, built entirely in Power BI using sample invoice data across 500 transactions in 10 European countries. What you have seen today is not just a dashboard, it is a decision-making platform, one that transforms hours of manual accounts payable reporting into instant actionable intelligence for finance leaders, procurement teams and GBS operations managers. The concepts we covered in video 2, purchase orders, three-way match, payment terms, invoice aging, working capital, all come to life here visually and interactively. If your organization needs something like this, reach out. First dashboard is completely free. All contact details are in the description below. Subscribe to GBS Analytics Hub for weekly Power BI and process excellence content. See you in the next video.